I found the cheat code to the perfect Mille Feuille, but it's very expensive, and let me show you why it's so good. So this is a perforated puff pastry tray. Now essentially what it is two trays that slot together, but they are set to a fixed height, and that means that when you bake your puff pastry in it, it can only rise to the fixed height of the tray, so you get an even thickness and an even bake every single time. Now I've shown you how to make puff pastry before, so I'm not going to repeat that, just head to my website, but I've got my homemade puff pastry and I've lined my tray with a perforated silicone mat. We place a second perforated mat on top and then we just slide the tray together. We're gonna chill this in the freezer just for about 20 minutes. Once it's chilled, we're gonna put it in the oven to bake. It's gonna take about 75 minutes. Now I would recommend putting a sheet of parchment on the bottom just to stop the butter from dripping all over the bottom of your oven. We're gonna fill this with a delicious diplomat cream. So I've got milk and vanilla, which is gonna bring it to a gentle simmer. And in the meantime, we whisk together egg yolks, sugar, corn flour, and salt. You only need to whisk it together for about 20 seconds. Once that cream is hot, we're just gonna slowly pour it over those egg yolks, making sure we're just tempering it so it doesn't scramble. Get it back into your pan. We're gonna whisk it constantly until it starts to bubble. Once it does bubble, continue to cook it for 1 minute. It should be nice and thick. We're gonna pass that mixture through a sieve. And finally, we whisk through a little bit of cold butter. Cover it up and get it in the fridge to chill. Now for me, a very important element to the taste here, this is the raspberry coulis. So we've got raspberry puree and frozen raspberries. We're gonna gently heat that. Once it's hot, we whisk in our sugar and pectin, and then just bring it to the boil. And then off the heat, we stir in our gelatin. Come on, get that into a tall jug. We're gonna chill it in the fridge for an hour. Once it's baked, we just slide back that top lid and then we just peel back this perforated mat and have a look at that puff pastry. It is so even. Then we're gonna caramelize it just to add a little bit of color, a little bit of sweetness, so we dust an even layer of icing sugar all over the top. We increase the oven temperature and just put it in very briefly, okay? Keep an eye on it because otherwise it's gonna burn. Once that sugar has caramelized, you'll see the puff pastry has a nice shine on top. We're gonna let that cool completely. Look at that. Wow. Now we've got to finish that diplomat cream. So I've got some whipped cream here. This is just double heavy cream whipped to a medium stiff peak. And I've whisked up my creme patissiere just to loosen it. We're going to whisk these two together until we have a medium stiff peak to our diplomat cream. Now to fill this, we're going to do a little spiral piping motion with that diplomat cream. And once you have piped it, the best little secret is to actually put it in the freezer for 30 minutes. It will just stop it from collapsing when you go to assemble. We fill it with the raspberry coulis and then we stack it on top of each other and it's ready to serve. Now, although this cost me £89, it was worth every single penny. And in my experience, I found it delivers much more consistent and superior results to the traditional weighted tray method. When I'd used that method before, I never knew how much weight to put on. It would be uneven, slightly more cooked in one edge than the other. This takes out all the guesswork and just delivers those consistent results every single time. If you want to recreate that recipe, just click the link in my bio. I've also got the link for the tray in there so you can make a beautiful raspberry mille feuille every single time.